Female gladiators existed, and they were the freak show of the Roman world. Forget the noble men fighting for freedom. We're talking about women stripped down to loincloths, fighting each other or wild beasts in the Colosseum, usually as a sign that the emperor throwing the party was so disgustingly rich he could afford to violate every social norm just for kicks. Yeah, that's not clickbait. Women actually slaughtered each other for entertainment, and the reason they banned them will piss you off. Stick around because the way these fights actually worked is way weirder than you think. So the Roman Empire is famous for the Colosseum, blood, guts, gladiators chopping each other up for a roaring crowd. But here's what nobody tells you. Some of those gladiators were women. Now, before you picture badass warrior queens, let me hit you with reality. We're talking about maybe a dozen ancient texts and a handful of artifacts. Female gladiators were rare, like really rare. In the Roman Senate, they freaked out about it so hard. They passed laws in AD 11 and AD 19 banning upper class women and any freeborn girl under 20 from fighting. But wait, it gets better. Around AD 200, Emperor Septimius Severus banned female gladiators completely. Why? Because after one show, people started making jokes about how fierce the women fighters were, but they directed those jokes at other prominent women in the crowd. Basically, they killed female gladiators because men were uncomfortable with the comparison. Fragile much. So who were these women? Just like male gladiators, most were enslaved. You could become a slave if you were captured in war, committed a crime, racked up debts, or just had spectacularly bad luck. One researcher thinks female gladiators were mostly criminals or women who sold themselves to gladiator schools to pay off crushing debts. But, and this is where it gets wild, some were rich women who chose to fight. The writer Tacitus recorded that in AD 63, during Nero's reign, a bunch of distinguished ladies and senators disgraced themselves in the arena. The scandal of it all. Now here's the thing about how they fought. Male gladiators had armor, helmets, specialized weapons. Some fought with nets and tridents, others with swords. They trained at schools and didn't always die at the end. Because dead gladiators are expensive. Female gladiators, way less clear. There's a relief carving from Turkey, showing two women in stage names, Amazon and Achillia, holding shields and swords. They're topless, just like the dudes, wearing armor similar to a gladiator, type called a provocator, which was designed to look like a Roman soldier. No helmets, though. And according to the inscription, both women were released while still standing, meaning nobody died. There's also a statuette showing a female gladiator with a dagger called a Sika, wearing just a loincloth and a knee wrap. Again, no helmet. Here's where it gets dark. One of the earliest sources about female gladiators says the women chosen to fight weren't the strongest or most skilled, they were the most beautiful. Basically, sponsors picked hot women to fight so the audience could ogle them. That's why they weren't allowed helmets. The crowd needed to see their faces, and researchers suspect they weren't allowed to fight to the death either. Not a single ancient source mentions a female gladiator dying in combat. And unlike the 1,000+ tombstones of male gladiators we've found, there's not one for a female gladiator. The rules were probably tweaked to keep them alive. Rome didn't expect women to be skilled fighters or brave enough to face death in combat. So the whole thing was likely a spectacle first, competition second. These fights were expensive and exclusive, mostly put on by emperors to flex their power. Still, some of them clearly had skills. The poet Statius wrote that watching female gladiators fight made you think you were seeing a band of Amazons battling by a river. So even if beauty was part of the selection criteria, these women could throw down. But let's be real, the whole thing was a sideshow. Female gladiators existed, yeah, but Rome made damn sure they stayed rare, controlled, and eventually erased. Because God forbid women get too good at violence in public. So female gladiators were real. They fought half naked, weren't allowed to die, and got banned because they made men uncomfortable. History's weird like that. If this made you rethink everything you thought you knew about Rome, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more grotesque historical nonsense coming your way.